G'day everyone and welcome to episode 7 of our Movie World update, and as you can tell by the thumbnail, we might have some things to talk about. So obviously when we started this, I set up a couple of rules to try and keep myself contained from what I normally create. I don't know if you've seen my other builds inside of Movie World, but I like to exaggerate a little bit on what's there already and put my own spin on things, and sadly this has now turned into none other than an exception because I'll be asking people in the comments to let me know whether I did go over the top and I should tone it back to not be so crazy. If you can either skip to the end of the video and see some glory shots, or just sit through and listen to me ramble for 20 minutes until that point. But I'll be listening in the comments of what people think and how they react. But when we initially set up the rules for this build, obviously rule number 1 was the rides and layouts, so the buildings would stay the same, and we haven't broken that, thankfully. Number 2 was trying to keep costs low. We are starting to push on that a little bit with this, so we were meant to be using bits from around the park, obviously the DC Supervillains Unleashed area, and number 3 was to act as if Movie World asked me to do this in some sort of official context, so I could hopefully get offered a job one day by them, because that'd be pretty cool to say that you've gone from Planet Coaster to designing real coasters. But that's probably what I'm going to need your help on, is if I did go a bit over the top. But let's just talk about a bit of the story if you haven't been watching along. Obviously you have Superman Escape, and the initial story right now that's already there is you're in a subway tunnel, the MRT, and obviously there's a cave in, you're trying to get out, Superman saves you, and that's the whole story, is him ejecting you out of the tunnel straight up into the other track section, and that's the whole gist of everything. So obviously with the Flash being outside, I wanted to expand upon that and trying to create more of a Justice League sort of area, which could be added later with the other members. Obviously Superman is here, the Flash is here, Batman is somewhere else. We don't know where he is anymore. Do you reckon they might have got rid of that old statue that was up the top? I would have loved to have seen the state that he was in after all them years when they pulled him down. But you've also have the Doomsday Destroyer, the massive statue they had, and I've really focused on reusing that and giving it a new purpose and a new life to be used in front of guests. So obviously you can see our own Yeti that we have in the background there, which is pretty cool. But I wanted it to be as if some cosmic event is happening inside of Metropolis and you're in the middle of it. So essentially the Flash Speed Force is the Flash and Reverse Flash are fighting, or whatever you want to interpret the story as there, and they've literally created this time rift, and the time rift is essentially designed so that you can only see it when you're either on Superman Escape or you're entering the Flash Speed Force to ride it. You can see it, I should say, from, say, like the fountain area or the main hub area of Superman Escape, but it's only when you get inside that I wanted it to have this effect of time standing still. So it's as if this explosion has just happened, Doomsday's coming in, he's flying in and he's hit that building. Obviously all these rocks are shot out of the ground, and then obviously creating these, I don't know, I was watching anime at the time, and that's what made me do the smoke trails, and I thought, hey, that's a pretty cool way to hold these things up, is you would hide the structure and the supports to hold them up in that sort of smoke trail to make it look like it's really cool. But it's just adding these close calls to all of these effects coming together to be like, okay, I'm in here, and it's when I'm on the ride, it will look as if you are speeding through here so fast that time has stood still. That's my initial hope for it. Obviously I can't pull everything off inside a Planet Coaster, and obviously I'm within the limitations of what you could really do in real life, but it's been cool to play around with that concept of not messing with the existing structure and moving things around. It's literally just a massive retheme of this area, and I liked pretty much how it turned out. I'm very happy with it. I love how it but it wasn't until I finished, so those that don't know, that I literally put my headphones on, press record, and it's literally me just for hours building and just adding random stuff and just having fun and deleting stuff and adding stuff and then it wasn't until I think this was a couple of hours later, I took my headphones off and I was like, I might have to stop here and ask if I've gone too far. So that is the question I am putting towards you, is do I just keep going with this sort of over the top style of concept? Like, it's not too crazy. I feel like I could have gone a lot worse, but I feel like in my head I've tamed it down, because the ideas that I had for this were a lot worse than this. Like, it was going to have, I shouldn't say because you might tell me to add it. I'll keep that secret until the last episode. But yeah, definitely put in the comments whether you think this looks cool or not, or you're happy with how this is turning out. But it's pretty much designed so that when you enter the flash speed force, so here, let me just show you me riding it around. So when you ride it, sorry, I've forgot that I skipped that part. I do a ride through when I fix all this part up, I promise. This is the first time that I watched this footage back, so it's funny to see how like in a trance you get when you're building stuff like this, and you're like, oh, okay, I understand. But creating this sort of zone for effects like the smoke rising up or other things like the lighting that I'll put in there was pretty cool. And then this was the other section that I'm really curious to see how people react, was I wanted to have a building site. Now, yes, you might say it looks tacky, right? But to me, looking around, I thought, well, what's the city have? And when I was watching the Flash, what is it? Flash Paradox? I think that's what I was watching. In a lot of their shots, they have the city that's just in ruins in the background of most of the shots. And it's like, well, why don't I have that in here? And it's not much of an eyesore once I finish. Trust me, we'll get there. But I wanted you to fly around here and literally fly into a building that's collapsing, which I thought would be really cool because you don't have to go too high. So it's kind of, the way I got around that was just having it as a construction site. And yes, it would be hard to pull off, I feel like, in a theme park, because people would literally just look at it and go, well, that's just not finished. But I feel like you could pull it off if you did it well enough to where it's fallen apart, where you'll see in the end. So obviously that's just a template. That's not what I fully planned. You'll see coming up what I get around in that solution. But I wanted to have this back wall just in city streets. The problem I ran into with a lot of it was I was adding a lot more stuff. So another thing that I would have loved to have added was a tank firing a missile. And obviously with time stopped, I had the explosion coming out of the barrel, the line of smoke going towards the missile, and I was either going to have the missile just in midair floating and like firing like that, and you could even have it where it could blow hot air on guests as you fly past it and just dodge it, or I was going to have it blowing up that car that I had sitting there, you see there, and it was just going to be the start of that explosion, as if the military was rolling into Metropolis trying to fight Doomsday, trying to help, and obviously everything's going wrong. So it's pretty cool that the story works well with everything. So you obviously have Superman and the Flash can move at these speeds. So I'd say that Wonder Woman and Batman and Cyborg would just be frozen in time in this sort of situation. So you'll be able to fly around really fast as on the Superman, and then obviously the police car that's flipped, the truck that's flipped, I wanted you as a guest to be able to have more involvement. So you would be standing in line for that queue, and it'd be a really cool like photo thing to be like, well, you can have a photo of you holding up a car. Like I'm not sure if you've seen, but what really inspired me was obviously the Flash movie, but if we want to talk about the other side, was X-Men. When is it Quicksilver? I think that's who it is. When he stops time. Now, when he's running around and he's doing his own thing, everything is just frozen in place. And like I've always loved that sort of scene of, wow, that'd be cool to be in some sort of roller coaster that allows you to stop time, and that's how everything is frozen. He's like, oh, I understand that, like, this is how fast these people are moving, that it's literally just the click of a finger and everything would just shoot into everything. But being able to slow it down for a guest experience was really cool to explore how a theme park would pull that off, and I think it could work. Like, that's just my opinion. I don't know whether people feel the same, but I think it could really work in a theme park situation just from what I've been building, and you could pull off that effect. But as I said, it's more about the sight lines. Like, when I would ride this and you'd be able to see guests walking around, it obviously breaks the illusion. So obviously when I put that massive rock formations up, you really make that area tiny of, okay, this is just this area, and everything is stopped. But then once you get outside, sure, you can see Doomsday on the hill. Sure, you can see this building in the background that I've built and all this other stuff, but you can see that in every theme park, I feel like. Like, it's creating the magic but hiding it. It's I don't know what rant I'm going on now, but I'm just trying to like justify why I think it's a really cool reason, and hopefully a lot of yous agree with that. It does work for sort of movie, and I feel like Movie World, this area it could really do with something cool like this. And I don't know how much fake rocks are or anything like that would be to create, but you literally could make Superman Escape feel brand new for little work. Like, what's this? Just some fake buildings, some fake rock, and a flipped car, like, looks like it's upside down. This car park area, which we'll get into now, it had to look like it was falling apart. So I really wanted to create that feeling of urgency, like everything is falling around you, and it's you're not hopeless, obviously, with Superman and that, like Superman and the Flash saving you, but it creates cool things to look at. And that's what I really enjoyed about it, was if you ride it once, you might look into this building and you might see something, and then you ride it again and you can look in another area and see something completely different. And it's creating them layers of every time you ride, you would be seeing something new anywhere you looked around. Instead of when you get on this, yes, it's cool that we're getting a new station and that sort of stuff, and probably new effects inside the building, but once you go outside the building, the ride's pretty much done, essentially, for theming. Like, not for the, like, trust me, the speed of the lift hill is good enough, but it'd be cool to add near misses and a bit more of a story outside. And that's what I thought I could really bring to the table of making this work. And yes, there are a couple of zones here that are a little bit close for, I'd say, what do you call it, near misses. But I feel like you could get it going. I think, like, I'm as I said, I'm very happy with how it turned out. It's really cool to ride around on. It's very hard to portray through a video of how far these things actually are from the roller coaster, but when you see them on a video, they look really close. But I've given it at least a meter or a meter and a half space between either side of it, so there's no way that even if a guest put up his hands that they would hit it. So it was fun after I created. So you would have seen me putting in the work, having the double pieces of broken things there, and that really comes into handy now of making it look like it's falling apart. So you got to think that Superman is literally trying to get you out, but the city's falling apart around him, and even on the outside, you're not safe. The I don't know whether you can call it a car park or you want to call it a building. Thinking of it now, I think I should do like some like Final Destination pipes or something like that, like just building site materials that would be stacked in this building, like as another sort of close call. But we'll see how people react to this video. I'm very interested to see what people say. I don't know whether people will like it or they'll love it, but just know that I'll be waiting in the comments to see what people think of this coaster. So please do comment down below what you think, because I would love to hear what you think of this whole build. Like, it's been fun. Like, we're nearing the end now. I'm not sure, as I said, what I'm gonna do next after this, whether I do anything at all. Like, this could be our last build together. I've not been shy about not knowing what I'm gonna do next. There's a lot of cool people building Aussie stuff already, and like, as I said, I love putting my own spin on things. People have asked about if I'm going to play Planet Coaster 2. I have been creating some things in there, but I'm just waiting for the right pieces to come in for me to get back into it. Like, the lighting tutorial was really cool. I got massive feedback from that, but I think I'm just enjoying building stuff like this. Like, I don't know. We'll see how all of this is received, and then we'll make a decision after this whole thing's done. So it looks like pretty much the next episode's going to be the outside section for the building, and then the station, and then the final go over of everything, doing effects and lighting and more destruction and just adding extra things, or redoing this whole area because some people commented that they hate it. But that's, as I said, it's completely up to everyone. Of like, I don't want to just go off on my own tangent. As I said, we did set these rules, and if people feel as though I did break the rules and I shouldn't have gone to this sort of level, then it is what it is. Like, I did make them rules for a reason of not wanting to be silly with this and go Scooby-Doo levels, if you understand, because Scooby-Doo, we just ended up just deleting the Wild Mouse thing and putting our own coaster inside of it, which at the time could have been Australia's first indoor roller coaster, which is what I think Movie World needs. So here we go. This is your first look at flying through that building. So remember that things are a lot closer than what they appear, but literally you'll fly through and it'll look like that building is collapsing, but time has stood still. So essentially you're moving that fast that it's obviously not going to collapse on you. And it really works with the pieces, see there, like the taxi, of creating that illusion of like, oh, okay, like this, I'm onto something. Like, you have no idea how much fun I was having building this. And this is me trying to think of extra things that I'll add later to try and hide the it's under construction thing. Like, as I said, if you understand that it's a part of the ride, it makes sense, but you don't want it to be an eyesore for the park of like, oh, Movie World's just got unfinished buildings everywhere. But that's where I think like I struggled with the idea of what to do. And then it wasn't until I was playing around with these pieces here that I was like, you know what would be really funny is if even when you hop off the ride, there's still a little bit of danger. And the little bit of danger is this building is tipping towards the exit area here, because I know a lot of people love to go up here and stand here and take photos of the ride and stuff like that. And I think Movie World has started to stop people from doing that with gates and stuff like that down there. But this would really just put a stop to it of like, look, you're exiting the ride, you can't get back up there. And it's literally, that's just part of it. So the other thing was, I did have to ask was for that main hub area, do you think I should do another car flipped to create more of a photo opportunity for people that aren't going to ride the Flash? So that's what I'm struggling with. Of obviously, if we move the Wizard of Oz coaster, I would just wrap fake buildings around the whole way, but we're sort of getting into too much work, and I don't think I need to do all that to achieve what we wanted to with this building and go too over the top, if that makes sense. But yeah, as I said, the comment section is open for your feedback. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Obviously, keep it friendly. We don't want to get too I hate it, delete it all, because that's I don't know what I'd do if people really hated this. Because as I said, I'm so proud of it. I'm so happy with how this looks. But I did set up rules for a reason, and I didn't want to make it as if we went a little bit too crazy, which I don't know, we could have, we couldn't have. It's as I said, it's up to you. But yeah, I suppose other than that, how are you enjoying this little build? Like, as I said, I was a bit lost on what to do after Movie World. I was a bit lost on sort of what to create, but it's just been fun building again with, as I said, like the OGs that watch my channel that love this sort of build stuff, and it's been really fun to create and just have fun again and just go and do whatever I wanted. As I said, it'd be really cool if you could get a job out of this. Like, could you imagine doing this for a real job of like a company like Movie World coming to you and saying, hey, we want to do this. Can you do up some concepts of what you could do for this? Like, even if it's not like a like, oh, well, they're gonna build this. It's cool. It'd be cool if Movie World was like, okay, that's sick, and then they would talk to their people and be like, can you pull this off for us? So, oh yeah, this was the other thing I was trying to create of. Doomsday's jumped in, and he's just hit that building, and that's where he's shattered the glass. Obviously, we can't have the pieces that break. I don't have enough little pieces to create like as if the building is imploding as he's hitting it. So it's kind of just going to be like he has just jumped to that point to try and attack Guess, which doesn't make sense because the Guess wouldn't be there. But I don't know. It's we don't want to go too far into the story, do we? Oh, this is the cool thing with the milkshake. I don't know if you remember from when we were building the DC Supervillains area. I did the cracked sort of billboard thing, and I was going to put that there, and I was also going to put these extra rocks, but when I initially wrote it, it ended up being just too much, and you do go very fast through here, so adding too much would overdo it. So I'm pretty happy with how it is here. If you think of anything that could be added in here, put it in the comments. If you want to surprise people, send me one of them private messages, and I'll have a read of that as well. But yeah, this is episode 7 done. As you can see, it's a cool effect of the police car and everything like that hanging there. It'd be cool to take a photo under that as if literally this whole area has exploded. And I feel as though I haven't seen anything like this in another theme park. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you think. As always, most importantly, make sure you have a great day. And thank you so much for watching. I appreciate every single one of you that watched this. But yeah, let's get this thing finished. Comment below what you think. And yeah, I cannot wait to hand this over to you. See ya!